October's greetings. I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula. And when I'm not out of pumpkins to make a jack-o'-lantern and improvising instead with a decapitated head I had lying around, I'm here at the Wolfula RiffViewing movies. Halloween is finally here, and that means October has reached its logical end. It doesn't always end logically, but this year it does, with my RiffView of the Pumpkin Karver, released direct-to-video in 2006. Karver is spelled with a K for some reason. I guess because pumpkin has a K in it? I don't know. Now, if you think the jack-o'-lantern guy on the cover looks kinda cool, well, you're in for the same disappointment everybody in a video store back in the mid-2000s was in for. Before we begin the RiffView, though, let's check in with my faithful undead servant Goulash, who's currently busy preparing my Halloween treats for this evening. How are things coming along, Goulash?
About as well as you could expect putting razor blades in a piece of candy can go.
I don't see what the problem could be.
Well, sir, it's impossible to hide a razor blade in a piece of candy without it being painfully obvious that there's a razor blade inside it. It just feels like it defeats the purpose of the whole thing. We also have a lot more candy than we do razor blades, sir. I got like a 25 pack at the supermarket. It's not gonna cover all this candy.
Whatever, just mix the tampered candy together with the non-tampered candy, and the trick-or-treaters won't notice when they grab a piece with a razor blade.
Nah, okay, I'll give it a shot.
You better get results, Goulash. Anyway, let's move on to my RiffView of the Pumpkin Karver. The film opens with the logo of the now-defunct First Look Studios, because this is the first time anyone has ever looked at this movie in 15 years. It's Halloween, and the neighborhood trick-or-treaters are wearing the best costumes that the Kmart clearance section had to offer. It's here where we meet Jonathan and Lynn Starks, an adult brother and sister who share a house together with no parents in sight. Jonathan is supposed to be a high schooler, but Lynn's age is unclear. It seems like she's intended to be only a little older than her brother, hanging out with the other teens later in the movie. But her actress was 36 though, and she looks and acts a lot like a mom.
We're in a new town, going to a new school with new friends. Let's start having some fun, okay?
It's weird. I don't know how else to say it. I'm getting kind of a Jack Nicholson vibe here.
Never mind.
Anyway, after Jonathan's sister mom gives candy to trick-or-treaters just waiting to receive a cease and desist letter from Sony Pictures.
What do we have here?
Ma'am, who's the MIP? And I'm B1.
I'm B2.
Lynn meets up with her boyfriend, a skinhead named Alec, who motorboats Lynn while her brother John looks on clearly jealous somebody else is banging his MILF sister besides him.
I scored some imported juice for the party.
Oh, that's not important.
Fucking A, it's from Colorado.
Jonathan's torment doesn't end there, as the Drake Bell impersonator holds back a tear. Witnessing Alec violate the pumpkin, John was taking way too long carving anyway.
Oh. All right, dude. Like, I'm out of here.
Come on, dude, you're wasting all that imported beer. Elsewhere, Lynn is still in her bra and panties, trying to decide on a costume, being a silly goose in the process. You can tell they definitely didn't have this scene in the script, and just wanted an excuse to record more footage of a WWE diva half-naked. While this is going on, a mysterious figure enters the Starks' house, and Jonathan is still silently carving that same pumpkin. Who carves pumpkins on the night of Halloween anyway? It's too fucking late for this shit. It'll be November by the time you put it on the porch. Lynn digs through her dark garage's extensive storage of Halloween costumes she couldn't decide on, providing the dark figure the perfect opportunity to strike. But like any other chick put into this situation in a horror movie, Lynn assumes it's just her white supremacist boyfriend goofing around.
Oh, I'm really scared now. Please don't kill me, Mr. Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, this totally isn't an almost word-for-word ripoff of the garage scene from Scream.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I thought you were going as that weird thing from the Jeepers Creepers movie.
You mean Victor Salva? The pumpkin-headed jackass starts to go stab-happy on Lynn, who successfully manages to defend herself with a lamp. Man, this guy makes Ghostface look like he's coordinated. After the killer struggles for 10 seconds to free himself from a pile of empty cardboard boxes, he finally attacks Lynn. But Johnny arrives primed to finally take his pumpkin carving to the next level. And after doing his best OJ impression...
Stop! Stop it, Jonathan!
Lynn reveals that the killer was Alec, who was just pulling a Halloween prank with a fake knife.
It's Alec. It wasn't real. The knife wasn't real.
That was honestly a really good prank. Gotta appreciate the dedication to continuing to pretend murder your girlfriend even after she beats the shit out of you.
Look what you've done, Jonathan! Look what you've done!
God, I really hope this happens to a YouTube prankster someday. The film's bad so far, but things only get worse during the opening credits, which use, papyrus font. One of the worst, most overused fonts of all time. This looks like the menu of a Thai restaurant. Well, I guess if it was good enough for the highest grossing movie of all time, it's good enough for the pumpkin carver.
I don't know if he's breathing. There's so much blood.
Wait a second, the screenplay was by Shel Silverstein? But I thought he died like 20 years ago. So instead of writing beloved poems, he's moved on to writing shitty horror movies, huh? A fate worse than death.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Dying, please. Hurry.
Speaking of a fate worse than death, the movie continues as we jump ahead 1 year later, and Lynn is driving Jonathan to an isolated Halloween party in the middle of the desert, where she hopes to get her little brother laid on the 1 year anniversary of him killing a guy.
Thought that maybe you and her and there I go again, taking care of my little brother.
Lynn is a cool older sister.
Even the police said that was a totally stupid thing that Alec did. Even I thought the knife was real.
While fumbling with the map, the siblings nearly hit an old man loading pumpkins into his truck in the middle of the road.
So sorry.
What the hell you doing racing around like a couple of goddamn fools?
The oldster eloquently explains why he's loading pumpkins in the middle of a desert road to begin with.
What happened?
I'll tell you what happened. Goddamn cat sensors of brake on a gate broke in through. That's what the hell happened.
Wait, what did this guy just say?
Goddamn cat sensors of brake on a gate broke in through. That's what the hell happened.
Oh, okay. Now I totally know what he said. An unfortunate predicament.
I saw a pitchfork so far up their ass I picked snot with it.
Lynn and Jonathan followed the crudely drawn signs to what already looks like the worst Halloween party ever, featuring the most terrible costumes imaginable. A no-fun pirate, a Hulk who's too shy to take off his shirt, and an ultra-shitty Austin Powers costume in the year of our Lord 2006.
Yeah, baby. Groovy shagadelic.
Oh man, I can already tell I'm gonna hate this movie.
Oh, behave.
The producers of the film looked this guy dead in the eye, asked him if he could do an Austin Powers impression, and he said, "Don't worry, I won't let you down."
Yeah, baby. It's gonna make you hard.
Adding to the future death toll is a trio of bitches wearing low-effort Charlie's Angels costumes, trying their best to out-cringe the Austin Powers wannabe.
We're the new Charlie's Angels, so don't mess with us or we'll be kicking some major butt. Yeah!
Well, I like these Charlie's Angels better than the Kristen Stewart version, at least.
Angels, I think it's time to wrap this case up and move on out.
The bad Halloween costumes don't end here, though.
Lynn, hello. Look at Joe. Doesn't he look great?
Doesn't he look great? He's wearing a Yankees cap and holding a baseball bat. That's not a fucking costume. Get the fuck out of here. While Jonathan is left alone to unload his sister's Jeep because he's a loser, he gets head-hugged by a pumpkin monster. Yeah, this guy in a polo shirt wearing a herpes-infected pumpkin on his head is what the villain of this movie looks like. Lameness levels this high have never before been reached. To make matters worse, Jonathan is jump-scared by Minka Kelly. Ah! The bitch from Friday Night Lights!
You okay?
Yeah.
Minka Kelly plays Tammy in this movie. Ironically, she was in the short-lived 2011 reboot of Charlie's Angels, but didn't play any of the chicks dressed as Charlie's Angels in this movie. Instead, Tammy is the sensitive, artsy girl of the movie.
I do like to draw and paint and stuff like that. Like, I'm into art, drawings and stuff like that.
You can tell she's into art because she's wearing a beret. It's perfect beret weather this time of year.
I just threw on this beret, figured I'd get away with being a painter.
Adding even more to the useless cast of characters is Bone Daddy and Spinner, a duo of slackers that make Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers look like subtle, well-rounded characters.
What the hell are you doing, bonehead?
What they're trying to do is get us killed, that's what they're doing.
The two obnoxious jackasses notice that Jonathan isn't wearing a costume, so they just assume he's dressed like Tobey Maguire based on how he looks.
Like, who's the Tobey Maguire, dude? Spider-Man over there, like, dude, where's your spider suit?
But Jonathan looks nothing like Tobey Maguire, yet he is continuously referred to as Spider-Man throughout the film anyway, for some reason.
Spider Dude's the only one left, so you gotta pick him.
Looks like Spider Dude's the winner!
I could honestly see Jonathan as looking like Tom Welling, though, if he played a dweeby weakling.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
Bonehead!
A spark is ignited between Jonathan and Tammy because they have so much in common. He's a surrogate for the director, and she's the kind of chick the director would like to bang. They're perfect for each other.
Take these and I'll catch up with you.
All right.
While Tammy spends a moment away from this creepy dork, Jonathan suddenly hears the voice of Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. Ah! It's a pineapple in a raincoat! Jonathan lifts up his shirt to reveal the words trick or treat branded in his stomach. But if he thinks that's bad, he shouldn't look at the tramp stamp the pumpkin carver gave him too.
Hey, there you are.
Anyway, Jonathan and Tammy begin carving pumpkins together while taking in the sunset, and they witness a couple moons in the process.
They're so weird, but I love it.
Huh, that's an interesting reaction to seeing two men show you their taint, but hey, Tammy is an artist. She sees the beauty in everything.
Bring it, bitch!
After being forced to look at two assholes, the couple is confronted by three more assholes. The Austin Powers and Hulk douches led by Lance the Pirate here. Man, a pirate named Lance. You can't get any gayer than that.
What else you got up your sleeve?
Come on, dude, let's just go.
Fucking touch me.
It turns out that Lance and Tammy, though, used to be a thing not too long ago.
I'm not yours anymore.
Well, I must have gotten confused last week when we were in the back of my truck. Fucking.
But don't worry, Jonathan is used to getting cuckolded by his sister.
I didn't wreck anything here, did I?
Lance starts to get a little rapier, which crosses the line for Jonathan because getting rapey is his wheelhouse. Unsurprisingly, even though none of Lance's punches connect with Jonathan's face, Jonathan still manages to get the shit beaten out of him.
Come on, man. Back off. Get off me. Chill, dude.
After witnessing Jonathan's embarrassing defeat, Tammy immediately leaves.
Stay here.
Already calling it now, Jonathan is totally getting laid tonight. Alright, let's take a break from this shitty movie and check in on Goulash again. I see you've been handing out candy to tonight's unlucky trick-or-treaters. Any victims so far?
No, not really.
What? We haven't been getting any trick-or-treaters tonight?
Oh no, we've been getting a ton of trick-or-treaters, probably the most in years.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Well, sir, they're not grabbing any of the candy with razor blades inside. They just keep grabbing the regular candy from the bucket.
We're not supposed to be giving them regular candy, Goulash. That's not evil.
Look, sir, you told me to put regular candy in the bucket, so I did it. They're just not taking any of the candy that will kill them.
Just tell them which candy to take from the bowl then.
Oh yeah, like that isn't totally suspicious. Hey, little Timmy, don't take the candy you want. Here, take this candy with a razor blade sticking out of it that will kill you instantly.
Listen, I don't want to hear any backtalk from you, jackass. Just make it happen.
I'll do my best, sir.
Goddamn right you will. Anyway, later that evening, the party really kicks off as the dozen or so teenagers rock out to a band composed entirely of dads.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. We are the Divine Chaos.
Is that Pauly Shore? Speaking of dated 90s references, elsewhere, against all odds, the guy in the terrible Austin Powers costume is getting laid. I guess he really did make her horny, baby.
Yeah, baby, it's gonna make you horny.
But not really. As soon as AJ starts to kiss Rachel,
No, AJ, no.
she becomes disgusted, he becomes rapey, and then he runs away. I guess this is a more realistic depiction of what would happen in an Austin Powers movie.
AJ?
Rachel regrets not getting shagged, though, baby, so she spends a minute looking around for AJ.
All right, AJ, look. I'm sorry I hit you.
Gets bored, and then eventually gets back into the car for some reason, only to find a threatening message on her windshield and an even more threatening knife in her face. Instead of fleeing the normal way by opening the car's door, Rachel instead tries to escape through a rolled-down window, which the Karver very quickly reverses to his benefit, and gives her a nice clean shave. Meanwhile, Tammy spills a wheelbarrow of pumpkins. Stupid clumsy bitch! Meanwhile, Jonathan is surprisingly carving pumpkins alone. What else is new? So a creepy old man decides to give him company. The best kind of company.
I've been watching you. We're the same.
Man, when a guy like this says you're the same as him, that's when you know you've hit rock bottom, and Jonathan shows he has nothing left to lose when instead of running away from this guy offering to show his carving skills,
come on, I'm gonna show you some real carving.
John instead opts to hang out with this old lunatic. Ben here was the guy who played Old Monty from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. He proceeds to go on a 4-minute monologue about how his parents were killed by a pumpkin carver. It's a performance that's too good for a movie like this, honestly.
Evil Karver who worked for my daddy broke into our house. Watched as my mom and daddy slept. I heard their screams.
This monologue really feels like the makers of this film were hoping this guy would be the Donald Pleasance of their movie. It's really reminiscent of the monologue Dr. Loomis has in the original Halloween.
Kind of evil comes around this time of year. Looking for carvings. Looking for blood.
Which is kind of sad because the rest of the movie needs to be good in order for a monologue like this to really hit. But I guess it was worth a try.
Only way to get rid of that evil is to dig it out with its own blade.
Anywho, Ben ultimately tries to coerce Jonathan into, sticking him.
Stick me! Come on, stick me! Stick me, boy!
Okay, this isn't the kind of sticking that Jonathan was hoping for when this old man invited him to his shack. So Jonathan leaves while looking even more like a pansy in the process. Just stick him, boy! Later, the group of partiers challenge each other to chug semen, I guess.
Yeah!
But Brian the Hulk here isn't able to hold his bucket of cum down. Lightweight. So he wanders off to an isolated barn to throw up and, hey, do some exploring too.
Dudes!
It's here, though, where the rotund Hulk has a flashlight shown in his face, which is more annoying than scary, honestly, and Brian's only recourse is to back up into a giant drill. I know it ain't pretty, but this is how Arby's makes its sandwiches, and they're pretty damn good. Elsewhere, Tammy, for some reason, decides to continue being romantic with Jonathan. Man, Lance must have really messed her up.
You have the most beautiful brown eyes I've ever seen.
Eventually, she shares a kiss with Jonathan, and he's got to be the first dude she's ever kissed whose breath smells like dick. After their first kiss, Tammy decides to leave Jonathan to talk to her ex-boyfriend Lance again and totally not bang him instead.
It's Lance.
I'll go talk to him, okay?
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Leaving Jonathan alone to face off against a monster that would look lame even in an episode of Goosebumps. And dear lord, these lightning effects make the effects in a Power Rangers episode from the 90s look cutting edge. And speaking of cutting, after showing off his Sith Force powers, the pumpkin carver opts to just slice this guy's face. Oh no! Jonathan is used to cuts being on his arms, not his face! The two remaining chicks dressed as Charlie's Angels leave the party in search of their third member, Rachel, because without her, they're just two bitches wearing red and denim jumpsuits, and, assuming Rachel is taking a fat shit,
Hey, slut!
they open up a nearby outhouse and come face to faceless with Rachel. When the two girls try to get help, the obvious choice is the Beavis and Butthead dudes, but by the time they all return to the outhouse, Rachel is nowhere to be found.
What the fuck? She was right here!
Well, she's not here now.
You guys are fucking with us, right?
Which is probably just because Rachel didn't want to be dying having to listen to these two obnoxious assholes the whole time.
So, dude, just chill. It's just that old dude fucking with your cerebral noggin, huh? It's just a Halloween prank.
The two fucking dumbasses wander off to a nearby pumpkin patch, and Bone Daddy over here decides to do a little all-natural gardening, when he's suddenly stabbed in the back. Ah! Literally, not metaphorically, and finally decapitated with a scythe, resulting in his headless corpse pissing on his own face. Man, this would be a really ironic death for R. Kelly. Now, you might be wondering what happened to Bone Daddy's friend Spinner. Well, he just wanders off and is never seen again.
Hey, what about this pumpkin? I can fuck it.
They were saving Spinner and the guy dressed like Austin Powers for the sequel that will totally come out someday. That's why neither of these two guys died.
Did I already pick this one up? Yeah, I heard you did. Get down!
Lynn decides to pull a Nancy Drew and arbitrarily investigates a nearby silo and ends up bumping into Rapey the Pirate over here.
That hurts.
Sensitive.
But Lynn manages to flee and leaves Lance to die. Don't you love it when the biggest dick in a horror movie just gets a death that's mostly off screen? It's so satisfying.
Trick or treat!
Ah, trick-or-treaters, what wonderful costumes you're wearing. Now, are you sure you don't want a piece of that candy? No, you want the Reese's cup instead? Yeah, I don't blame you, those are pretty good. Alright, take whatever you want, I don't care. Just get out of my sight. Oh, man. I'm trying my best here to kill these kids. It's just not working.
With the party having wound down off-screen as well, Tammy does some Nancy Drew investigating herself, solving the mystery of the bleeding scarecrow. It was a corpse the entire time! Jinkies! Ha! Made you look! Okay, this is why slasher villains really shouldn't wear harem pants. Just walk around the barbed wire. The dude is taking his time to get up. You're making this way too easy. Tammy jogs and trips for a good 2 minutes. Not a single killer in sight, so I think it's safe to say she lost him. Oh, god damn it! Luckily, he's really easy to push over and has a lot of trouble getting back up. So Tammy flees to the safety of the nearest trap she can get caught in. Lynn hears Tammy's screams and rushes off to rescue her, but encounters the corpse of Tammy's ex. Hey, it kinda looks like he's smiling. He's having a good time. Things look dire for Tammy. Luckily, though, Lynn arrives to save Tammy just in time. I guess not. Tammy is dead. Well, maybe check her pulse just to be sure. Okay, yeah, she's totally dead. Huh. Well, that's awkward. Speaking of awkward, Ben reaches in for a hearty handshake, but Jonathan finally swoops in to rescue his sister. Huh, Jonathan's been missing for a while. He's probably just been jacking off this whole time.
Now, why would I want to hurt her? Hell, I wouldn't kill a dog.
Of course you wouldn't kill a dog. Dogs are cute. That doesn't prove a damn thing.
Blood on a hand sticks in your mind like a jowl full of taffy.
Anyway, this is a really tense situation, but Lynn has to run off for a second to take a leak.
I'll be right back. Just keep it on him.
Leaving Jonathan alone with the crazed yokel. This weakling got overpowered by an elderly man? What a surprise! I'm so shocked!
Death must die.
How can death die? It's already dead. You can't get any deader. You aren't making any sense, guy. Whoa, the killer was Old Man Benjamin the whole time? And he would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for this meddling kid and his meddling board with a nail in it. Jonathan didn't count on one thing, though. The pumpkin carver is all the Sith. During this desperate moment, Jonathan pleads to his father, Darth Vader, to save him, and the apprentice finally destroys his dark master once and for all. No, wait, that's a different movie. The Karver unmasks himself, revealed to be Howie Mandel. No, wait, that's Alec, the guy Jonathan killed at the beginning.
Sweet revenge tastes so sweet.
Thankfully, though, Lynn arrives to rescue her brother, who kills Lynn's boyfriend again for old time's sake. Okay, is he killing this dude or is he just jacking him off? It's hard to tell. I guess he could be doing both. In reality, though, Lynn reveals that Jonathan killed a confused 70-year-old man.
No, it's not Alec, Jonathan.
It was him.
No, Jonathan, no.
But this'll just be their little brother and sister secret, like that one time they banged each other. Anyway, it's an open and shut case for the cops. Everybody else at the party is dead, and the only survivors have a history of murder in their family, but they definitely didn't participate in any killings last night. That'd be crazy. The elderly man was able to kill a dozen teens all on his own.
My men searched the old man's cabin. They found Eve somewhere. Did you see the way he carved up their faces?
Look at Jonathan over here with his hands in his pockets like he just broke a window and his dad is scolding him. Such a dork. Oh, I also want to point out that the dude who plays Officer Briggs over here is that guy from the old exercise tapes who says you can do it. Remember those?
Yeah, baby! You can do it!
Anyway, Lynn and Jonathan are free to go scot-free.
Can we just leave now?
Yeah.
And when they enter their Jeep, at first it seems like Jonathan is just shitting his pants. He always does that after eating Arby's, after all. But then it turns out Jonathan is transforming into a battle-damaged Uncle Fester.
Boo!
Yes, Jonathan was really, unsurprisingly, the killer all along and is haunted by the evil spirit of Alec or whatever, finally stabbing Lynn.
Trick or treat!
Oh, and also the line producer of the movie is Dan Harris. Hell of a line producer. That's why he gets the first credit. Oh, there's also a mid-credit scene with Alec, and sadly, it seems like the makers of this film were really hoping it would be shown in theaters.
Where do you think you're going? Out to your car? We're not done yet. We'll never be done.
Oh no, we're definitely done, dude. There's no Pumpkin Carver 2. Never will be. The Pumpkin Carver is a bad, forgotten direct-to-video horror movie, but it is one of those movies that makes me nostalgic for video stores. When you'd see cool horror movie covers like it, and you'd roll the dice on a rental based on the cover alone. Sometimes you'd be rewarded with something special, but like with Pumpkin Carver, you could also be punished with a truly terrible film. It was a fun time when not everything was online. You didn't really know what you'd get with a movie until you watched it. You could get a trick or a treat. Renting any horror movie felt like Halloween. I give the Pumpkin Carver a Jonathan out of the guy who dressed like Austin Powers. Well, before I go, let's check in on Goulash one last time now that Halloween is over. Goulash, did you manage to get any trick-or-treaters to eat the razor blade candy?
No, not really. They took every piece of candy except the ones with razor blades inside.
Oh, for God's sake, you just keep finding new ways to disappoint me, Goulash.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I guess it's time for your punishment, Goulash. Eat that entire bucket of razor blade candy.
Oh man.
How does that candy taste, Goulash?
Actually, this razor blade candy tastes pretty good.
The razor blade candy tastes good?
Yeah, the razor blades add a nice, zesty crunchiness. I highly recommend you try some of it.
Ooh, let me try.
Here, have this one.
Okay. Oh, God! Oh, God, that hurts so much!
Blood capsule. Still had a few pieces of regular candy left over, so I pulled the old switcheroo on Doc. Let's just keep this between you and I. Happy Halloween. You fucking weirdos.
There's blood everywhere. Oh, no. This is the worst Halloween ever.
Yeah, baby. Groovy shagadelic.
Could you tone down that comedy crap?
This video is made possible through the pledges of my Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to my shoutouts tier. All of the support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my dark influence continue to grow. If you like this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more vids. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Wolfula. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like previews, VIP Discord server access, private movie night streams, and credits in videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Dr. Wolfula t-shirts and other merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching. See you all next time. Dr. Wolfula signing out.